A Bonaparte will emerge in Russia who will conquer the whole of Europe, and in 500 years everything will be just fine. That's Marcuse's way of thinking.
Perhaps in a time to come another party will come into being in one country or another.
We cannot leave open the question of what we believe in. The section on work should contain an excursus on the utopians. For Marx, the only yardstick was the relation of labor time. We have a much more paradoxical view.
The utopians were actually not very utopian at all. But we must not provide a picture of a positive utopia.
Especially when one is so close to despair.
I wouldn't say that. I believe that because everything is so obvious, a new political authority will emerge.
Listeners must be able to hear from the tones that all we can do is simply say this without adding anything.
The belief that it will come is perhaps a shade too mechanistic. It can come. Whether or not it will come or whether it will go to the dogs is terribly hard to predict.
Everything we are discussing is far too abstract for my liking. What view, for example, are we to take of America?
America? We have to add that we believe that things can come right in the end.
The people want us to be far more outspoken. Our critique must make it clear that nothing will happen unless some people or other make it happen. Our style must reveal what we think should happen. We ought to write in the style of the possible opposition within the Communist Party. We should, for or against America, for or against the emergence of the European Union. To ridicule American consumerism is disgraceful unless the reader can somehow pick up how such matters should be regarded. Otherwise, it is merely abuse. My instinct is to say that there is nothing I can do. In your view, our task is, at the very least, to bring up a utopian in the negative picture. I should not like to drive things forward to the point where there is greater clarity in the relationship between that utopian and the present reality.
But if I prefer to write about music, that is because I have all the mediating categories at my disposal. The same could be said of philosophy, but we do not possess such categories in dealing with the internal developments of the political parties in the different countries, or not to apply them in the areas where one's own experience has the greatest relevance. How would it be if we were to formulate some guiding political principles today?
If we are to present ourselves with such ambitions, we have to be clear about the yardstick we are applying. Otherwise, Marx will keep reappearing at the seams. He wants the preservation for the future of everything that has been achieved in America today, such as the reliability of the legal system, the drugstores, etc. This must be made quite clear whenever we speak about such matters.
That includes getting rid of TV programs when they are rubbish.
In the first place, it is fantastically difficult to find out what these TV programs mean for the workers today. In Germany, it is probably the most progressive workers who buy TV sets. Secondly, it also is pretty obvious that in German eyes, relations with America are already suspect. Not those with Russia. We will have to include a sentence or two to the effect that even if American TV programs are very similar to Russian ones, they do not directly advocate murder. We have to distinguish clearly between our attitudes and with the different countries.
We must somehow manage to suggest such things rather than to say them directly.
The Russians are already halfway towards fascism.
If German hearts warm more towards the Russians, that is not just a negative fact. They think the Russians stand for socialism. People are yet unaware that the Russians are fascists, especially ordinary people. The industrialists and bankers are well aware of it. As for the Americans, people believe that money is the only thing that matters to them.